All right, this is how you get your oil filter off. You got one of these online, I think. Amazon. Use my link in the description. Helps our nonprofit. At least it links you to Amazon. You can buy anything on that. So this kind of goes over it, and then to loosen, so you basically end up loosening the cover is what you do, not the actual filter. Sorry, this wrench, not the actual filter. And this is I think it's 24. Let's see. Why is it so hard to find the numbers? There. 24. 24 goes right over top. You see, and then you loosen it like that. This is the oil filter number. Got this on Amazon.com. Again, use my link right below this in the description. Thanks. And also type your vehicle in to be sure that it actually fits. That's the number though. And if you look inside, you can see it's just an element. It's got a new gasket to put around, which you definitely want to use. And it's got the new element. I can't remember what this is for. We'll figure it out. And be sure you have this before you take this filter off. I think one time I took one off and realized I didn't have the element put in, but we're gonna do it now. Take it off, let's go. Now grab the handle on this, move it. Where's the oil filter? Under the oil filter, right here. See, we're right underneath. And then get that oil filter wrench. It's not really a wrench anymore. They used to actually be wrenches, straps, kind of things. And make sure you take this off as a reminder right now. When you finish, take this off. I've driven away and found this on my car at the next oil change when I couldn't find where it was. Unfortunately, it stayed on, but it doesn't always stay on. So don't assume that it's going to stay on. Now I get my ratchet. All right, now remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So we're gonna loosen this sucker. Oh, the whole thing came off. Might need an extension. Actually, I don't think we need an extension. It shouldn't be on too tight. Hopefully, if you didn't make it too tight last time. All right, and this is why you need a new gasket, because you've got to have a good seal here. Otherwise, all the oil is going to leak around here. Okay, as soon as you get it going a little bit, right away, be certain this is underneath. I had to move it a little bit because I needed some torque on there to do that. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Have I said that enough times? So you never forget. Let's see. Once you get it going a certain way here, you can take the filter wrench off. I think we're there right now. Sometimes it doesn't like to come off, or not. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it on, and I'm just gonna go by hand here. Let's see. This is gonna be a mess. Get ready. Get ready. Ugh. That's why you gotta have the glove on. You can kind of rest that down, let it drain out. And then we're gonna have to pull this out of here in a second. Take this gasket off, take the element out, throw them away. So be sure you have trash ready for that. You see here, I gotta keep wiping these gloves off. Otherwise I gotta put another glove on every time. I just wipe it off with some tissue. All this is gonna get thrown away. But if you don't wipe it off, then you touch something next and you get dirty oil all over it. And in case no one has told you, used motor oil causes cancer. Actually, unused motor oil might also cause cancer. And don't let it get on your skin because it soaks in. Anything gets on your skin soaks in. Same's true for deodorants. Everything that you stick on your skin, hair products, just remember that. But that's why I'm wearing gloves. Do this, do this. And think about all the other stuff I just mentioned too. All right, while we're leaving the oil pan there, let's pull the sucker out. All right, you can see what we've got. We've got the element. Ooh, a little bit of oil. Try to drain out. That's what the dirty element looks like. That's been in there for some time. Make sure we get the rest of the oil out of here. Tilt it all the way down. Sometimes you can't do it with the clearance. This is awesome about this truck. You don't have to lift it off the ground to do any of this stuff. Any car, pretty much you do have to lift off the jack stands. Here's the inside, should be clean. Now this rubber gasket, See, I got my finger on it right here. It's actually very flat. This we have to pull off and replace with the gasket that they gave us. My white balance is going insane there. So you gotta get started on one end, kind of pick at it. See right here, this rib, the last one, this is actually, it's a pliable rubber gasket. That's what it is. I want to put this down for a second and get it started. All right, so what you might need is a knife to get it going. Put my foot down on here so I can record this for you guys. Just make sure you're actually replacing this. I'm not gonna try to reuse it. Did I break through there? No, there's a shininess on it, but you see, I broke it off of there. Just kind of get it going with that, and then start to work it over the threads. There, got it off. This is the old one, so that gets thrown away. Don't reuse it because you might end up having an oil leak if you do that. This came with the filter. Check those 3 keys to successful oil change. Yeah, make sure you get in the right groove. You know, because there's a bunch of threads, right? But there's a groove we pulled it out of that's not actually a thread, and that's where it needs to go. All right, so for the 2 O-rings, I didn't do the smaller one because the smaller one was actually the middle part that has a smaller socket hole in it that you can use to drain out all this first, which I didn't do, but I have a giant oil pan, so I'm fine. But if I was to use that feature, I would have to replace that O-ring on the inside, but I didn't, so I'm not gonna replace it. It saves some time if you don't do that. You can do it if you want, but it's another step, as you can see. Let's pull this big O-ring out and get it on. So we're not gonna need that little one, but the big one. Make sure everything's clean. Just kind of slide it over and check this housing for any kind of cracks. I doubt you're gonna have any on this Tacoma because it's got that skid plate that you have to remove. See, we're gonna run it down. See, and it's already in the groove all the way down there. And you want to coat this with oil. Don't forget about that step. If you don't coat these O-rings with oil, sometimes they're gonna get stuck, and we don't want that. And actually, you want to take some new oil, not some dirty old oil, right? Make sure it's kind of spin it around. Make sure it's seated in there properly. I think we are. And now we need to get some oil. And let me show you what oil I'm using for this. So I just literally got a little bit of oil on here, poured it in, just a tiny bit. It gets all the way around quickly, and then that's all you need. Now it's time to stick this thing back on. Oiled up the O-ring. I can't believe I almost forgot to put this in. Make sure it's the same as the one you pulled off, which it does look the same. Don't forget, I think it goes either way, it doesn't matter. Now we're ready. You gotta push the oil thing aside, get it up in here, don't cross thread it. Most important step, just get it by hand. Make sure that gasket is oiled like we showed you. You gotta do all this by hand until you get, just like with the other one, until it's almost to the point where it's tight. And make sure you have not cross-threaded it. Yeah, we're good. And then we're gonna tighten it down. And a lot of people will over-tighten these too. Don't over-tighten it. This part we looked at earlier is if you do that center part, you know, and drain it first. So you can stick it in, turn it, oil comes out, that kind of thing. Which we didn't do. Let me know in the comments if you do that, if you use this. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, so change this. Get it connected. Just make it snug and torque it. Do not over tighten. See, we're just kind of closing this gap. There's a gap here between the metal and the plastic. It's almost done now. thought it was almost done. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna feel this for this. Yeah, this is totally closed now. So now we're gonna do the torque part. Not too much, not too much. Let me pull back. You got even got a light on there, huh? That's enough. I think that should be good. We're not using any sealant on this. Yeah, that's good enough. Now we gotta knock this thing off. A lot of times they don't like to come off. I found, like I said, I leave them on by accident. Oh, sometimes you have to go the other direction to kind of break it loose. There, you see? Now it goes the other direction again. That should be, yep. Go the other direction again. Not easy. Oh, see, now it's loosened. There we go. Finally got it off. And see, this is the thing we didn't use. You could have drained the oil first in this area. And this has another gasket on the inside, that smaller one, but we didn't use that. So in order to see if you actually have a leak, you got to go underneath here while it's running. I wiped that off. Let's take a look at it now after I wiped it off. See what we see. I don't think anything's leaking. Yeah, no drips there. You gotta wipe it off and see if there's anything. So, put everything back on, reverse order of removal.